Hi guys, Dingle's coming back at ya. Thanks so much to everyone who watched the Varsword tutorial. I know it was a lengthy one, but that chip is a real game changer. This time I have 5 quick tips to help you bust viruses in Battle Network 3. These tips are mainly knowledge based, super simple, and require no real execution, but will reap you massive benefits in your gameplay. Let's get straight into it. Starting with tip number 5, buster usage. In BN3, as well as the prequels and sequels, MegaMan's fire speed is actually the fastest when directly in front of an enemy. The rate of fire dramatically decreases with more panels between you and the enemy. Get up close if you can. However, you can counter that effect if you dash left and right between each shot. You essentially remove the lag timer between your buster pellets. As Buster Max is now a feature added to Battle Network with the release of the Legacy Collection, the Buster Fire is stronger than ever and seems to be a hit with people playing through the game for that nostalgia trip. This tip can make your speed even faster against tougher viruses and Navis. Even without the use of Buster Max though, this strategy is just so simple, it's really satisfying and it clears small fights you get throughout the net much faster. Tip number 4, style change. Ever wondered why you attained one style over another? Well, the game actually tracks how you play. Any fight you finish that gives you a reward screen has a point weighting system that I'll link below. Have a look through these styles and find the playstyle that suits you. From that information, you'll be able to work out what to do to make sure you get the one you want. Something cool you can do if you're not sure whether you'll like a style or not is to save before fighting Bubbleman's Bubble Brigade in AC/DC 2, as this fight is the trigger for your first style change. Revert back to that save if you don't achieve your desired result, and battle more viruses using the methods that give points towards it. And then complete the fight against the Bubble Brigade again. Your element unfortunately won't change, as that is chosen randomly tied to what frame you pressed new game on. It's worth noting, if you're trying to 100% this game on your own, then aim for custom style and team style. These two styles are the only ones that can give you access to both chips and mega chips that are required for completion. The Legacy Collection now gives us the ability to trade and compare chips though, so if you're happy to accept help, then go for whatever style suits your gameplay. Once you have a style, you need to complete 50 fights before it upgrades, giving you access to the more programs. If you choose to change your style, then you need to complete 50 fights before being granted a new one. Choose wisely. Tip number 3, Super Armor. Super Armor is a program you can attain from leveling up the Gut style. MegaMan is a great example of how Super Armor works. He takes your shots and he keeps doing what he's doing. The main benefit from Super Armor is that MegaMan doesn't flinch when taking damage. This can make sure you always get your ace cards off, as sometimes a usage right when you take damage actually eats that chip up. You may know that your busting level for a fight is reduced when MegaMan takes damage, but in actuality it's when MegaMan flinches. So the greatest use of Super Armor is being able to stand tall, tank damage, give the virus or Navi hell and still receive an S rank, because now speed is the only factor. Because of this, hunting for higher versions of enemy Navi chips is a lot easier, because you only need to worry about damage output, as damage received will no longer reduce rank when wearing that sweet Super Armor. Tip number 2, EX codes. When you get access to the beach area of the game during the N1 Grand Prix arc, find this man right near the station exit. He'll sell you the mod tools for 5,600 Zenny. It's probably one of the greatest value things you can buy in the game. Let me explain why. Now, when you run your Navy customizer, what you can do is hit your select button. However, the Legacy Collection may have changed your controls, so just check your key bindings for the actual button. You may have already found this function in the game, as this is how you deal with errors that arise from using programs that you don't have the current style colors for. However, there are also extra codes, or more commonly known as EX codes, that you can enter which give you great benefits. They essentially give you another program of your choice without having to own it or have it on the command line. I'll leave the list below. It's worth noting that the EX codes that give you incredible benefits also come with negative effects. Don't shy away from these though, as sometimes even the negative effects can still be slightly beneficial. For instance, you can get a whopping 1000 extra HP with this code, CNJDU2EM. However, every panel you step off becomes poison. Bad? Sure, but great for keeping your battlefields intact against people that like to mess with it like Gutsman or even Alpha. If that list makes your eyes gloss over a bit, then this code GJHURIE2 is probably your safest bet. It gives you a free 350 extra HP and comes with no negatives. I just mentioned the benefits of super armor in the previous tip. You can even put that on with no negative effects using the code KTEIUE2D. One thing though, if you ever run the Navy customizers again, you have to enter the EX code again. Also, for your benefit, if a code in that list says 1, 2 or 3, it's these odd symbols in the bottom right. Tip number 1, slot bias. My final short tip is really such a game changer for very little effort, and this tip works across most of the games. Because of a quirk in the way the game randomizes or shuffles your folder, your chips are more often going to be drawn in the order they sit in your folder from top to bottom. With this knowledge, slots 1 to 5 are obviously going to be drawn more than slots 26 to 30. If you're playing these games casually, then usually your strong chips are going to be your mega chips. These end up at the bottom of the folder, if your folder is sorted by the default ID option. So either manually moving your chips or perhaps consider sorting by attack or my personal favourite, reverse sorting by megabytes. To reverse sort, you just double press that option. You'll now see your ace cards more often, and if you had your good chips at the bottom, then you're probably going to experience an even bigger shift, as you've essentially moved them from the worst odds to the best odds. It's worth noting though, that the regular system, which allows you to select a chip you have enough RAM for, replaces your first drawn card. So if you're going to run with a regged chip, now slots 2 to 6 are your best draws. So replace slot 1 with either that regged chip or your least favorite chip in your folder, because now slot 1 is essentially the worst odds. Thanks so much for watching, guys. These are some really quick, easy tips that give you really effective results. A lot of the information I've given to you today is courtesy of the Rockman EXE zone, linked below, and from the knowledgeable guys in the Team BN Discord. If you learned something, consider liking this video. Stay tuned while I work on our next video, which will shed some light on the more confusing aspects of BN3. Cheers.